Hey, Sláinte, how do you do, buckaroos? How the heck are you? So in a video the other day, I'd mentioned that I only had one unopened bottle from my vacation last year. But I was wrong. I forgot about this one because I got this one. This was the last stop before we came home. Um, so now I have one. I decided to open this one. I usually open one at the beginning of the month. So this is the Clermont Steep, an American single malt whiskey. I was really digging American single. I was really getting into them. I still liked it. Don't get me wrong. But last year I was really buying every one I could find. Malted barley, American single malt whiskey. This one's at 94 proof. I did realize at the time, and I should have, Clermont Steep, that it was Jim Beam Clermont. That was obvious, and for some reason I didn't put it together at the time. But anyway. Single malt, all barley. The grain is 100% hand-selected malted barley. Fermentation is heirloom jug yeast recipe. Aged 60 months in new American oak, so it's 5 years old. Warm toasted grain, hints of caramel. I do love this. It seems to be a polarizing category. It does boggle the mind where you've got others that like other single malts for some reason aren't or kind of turn their nose up, if you will. I think it's just one of those snobby reactions. I think it's become that cool snob thing, right? Just, oh, American single malt. I don't know. But these whiskeys are amazing, man, because they take the category to a place that the others either weren't able to or weren't willing to. And I'm having it on the rocks. I am going to have some neat, but I want to try some on the rocks first. Because it's warm out here. It's not as hot as it had been. It's only about 81. So it's been really crazy hot out here. High 90s, which is a little hotter than typical for here. But today's nice. That's why I decided to come outside for a little bit. Sometimes I'm behind my bar. This time I decided, well, we'll sit in front of it. But there was a period there where I was drinking nothing but single malts, and I've kind of gotten away from that. So this is the first one I've had in a while. Notes of warm toasted grain, hints of caramel. They mentioned that. I'm gonna add honey. I'm getting a lot of raw honey. Certainly gonna get a lot of vanilla, a lot of rich cream vanilla. I'm gonna say. Nice barrel notes in the finish. Of course, it's going to be different when I have it neat, but I'm just giving you what I've got here. You get to that right spot, right? You get it just the right amount of cold, that right amount where just a little bit is melted off in there. It really brings all those sugars to the surface. So you get it a little bit sweeter than typical. Gosh, that is really good though. It ain't bad. It's not as bold as a couple that I've had, but it's good. It's very good. And I'll be honest, the only reason I bought it was because it was on sale. Like I said, it was right at the tail end of the vacation. So, but I looked at the stuff they had marked down. I said, oh, okay. Why the hell not? For that price, I mean, it was under 30. If they, what the hell, man? I think it was like 24 and change for a good 5-year-old single malt. Hell, baby, I can dig her. Most don't see whiskey as refreshing. I am kind of odd that way. I do. That's what, I don't drink a lot on the rocks anymore. But when you got a day like this, get that right whiskey. I don't go all the way up the food chain to put it on the rocks, but I'm not going to the bottom either. This is this at full price would have been a decision, but at 25, hell, man. Hell, baby, we can put some ice in it. Oh, mercy. Last year we went on vacation in September for our 30th anniversary, and I had quit buying things for a while, trying to work through. I was down to just a tiny amount of beer, and I only had one unopened bottle of whiskey left by the time we hit September, so I opened it that month. But we decided to take a vacation in August this year. We're going to just do something simple for our anniversary this year. Last year was a biggie at 30. This one's 31. If we make it to 40, we'll do something big then. If we get that far, man. But there's a reason why we wanted to go this time of year. We're going to be gone in August, a little bit in August. But we're going to be gone over August 11th, which would have been, which was our son Seamus' birthday. Of course, most of you know we lost him in 2013. It's typically we just kind of hide away that day. Been trying to just not make it sad, right? Try to think of things he'd like to do and kind of celebrate. So we're going to be gone on the, actually we're working our way back home on the 11th, but sometimes it's easier not to be around people you know. I guess I went a long way around the barn to tell that story, but there it is. But yeah, last year I was down to one bottle before vacation because I just quit buying. This year I've got, actually, I think I've got 5 unopened, but that's mostly because I had a birthday. We told folks no presents, but people brought me stuff anyway. Got a lot of whiskey. Most of it I opened. I shared a lot with folks. That was the kind of the neat part is we don't usually have company at our house. My wife has very severe social anxiety, so we don't usually have people over, but at my birthday party where I was able to share a lot of stuff with folks, and that was nice. I like being able to do that. Oh, this is nice, man. This is a very nice whiskey. I'm still, even with the ice and everything else, I'm still getting a lot of those barrel notes. A lot of big oak. You might find some cinnamon, some allspice. It's really how you feel spices, right? I tell folks you're not going to taste things you don't know. A lot of folks will pick up more fruit and dark fruit notes than I do because I'm not familiar with a few things. I don't eat a lot of dates and figs, and that's typically the flavors I've popped out, so I interpret it as something else. Spice notes is something I know. I use a lot of herbs and spices, so I tend to pick out things that a lot of other folks don't, because it's all about interpretation. Those things aren't in here, so your mind is interpreting certain things. Oh, that tastes like this. That smells like that. Oh, this is my Hard Rock glass from Tulsa. I got a couple years back. We had a larger vacation planned at one point, and then things came up. But rather than get upset that the main plan fell through, we came up with an alternative. But while we were looking at alternatives, one of the possibilities was going to Tulsa, but then we landed on something else. My wife had an idea that I hadn't really thought of, and it just kind of worked out that by doing that plan, I could meet up with a couple old friends I hadn't seen in a while. So that was really nice. And there's still something that she really wants to do out there too. So it kind of works out for everybody. It's a win-win, baby. All right, well, I'll be back with Neat. Well, Sláinte, and how you do, buckaroos? I'm back with Neat as promised. The Clermont Steep Malted Barley American Single Malt Whiskey at 94 proof. It is 5 years old to recap, and it is a Jim Beam product. Let me show you that. Again, when I bought it, I wasn't putting it together, Clermont was the giveaway, and I don't know why I didn't put that together, but nevertheless, I did enjoy it on the rocks. I'll be honest, typically I have it neat first, but it was warm out here. I said, I'm going to drink rocks first. I'm going to go after this the opposite way and see how the flavors and aromas are different now. Oh, wow. Let me reiterate some of these. This says notes of warm toasted grain, hints of caramel. So having it neat, that's exactly what you get right away on the nose. I'm gonna add vanilla in there, like a vanilla cream, like a warm vanilla cream, right? Like no. Gosh, that's nice. That really is nice. It's a very mellow single malt. One thing I do like about American single malts, and I think a lot of the folks that say they don't like them aren't quite getting, is that American single malts are doing what other single malt whiskeys aren't, which is aging in American white oak, where most will use second use bourbon barrels or whatever. This is why you've got the color and the flavor. You're getting more oak, you're getting more flavor. And maybe that's one reason I like them. I'm getting a lot of the notes I might find in bourbon, but with that big, chewy, 100% malted barley in there, which I really like. Adjust my camera just a touch there. And I love the boldness of the category. This was just a nice, easy drinker, though. I got to tell you, and like I said earlier, the only reason I bought it was because it was on sale. It was like 24 and change, just a hair under 25. Would I have paid the original 40, whatever? In all honesty, probably not. Although having it now, looking at the prices of other single malts, a 5-year-old 94 proof, I'm going to say it's worth it because it is a nice whiskey. But I'm a different whiskey guy than most. Most whiskey guys really want to stay with the names they know. And I try to buy as much small distillery product as possible. I got asked again last night, well, what's your go-to? I said, I don't have one, man. Because that's very unusual. Most of it, everybody's got their one mainstream one they always want to have. I'm just not that guy. When I travel, I try to buy as much product from that area as I can. And then I drink it till it's gone, and I kind of lament that I can't get it anymore, but then I kind of move on to the next area, and I buy whatever I can. I am lucky that we've got a very good distillery right here in town, Tiyakida, which is a sister company to Springfield Brewing Company here in town, and they're making some damn fine products, so I always have a local small distillery I can find. And I'll be honest, their products, but they're not doing an American single malt. And I've been urging them to do one. I've been urging because I really love the category. I know one of the distillers out there, and he's kind of on the same page. Come on, man, talk him into it. But their other stuff is amazing. I love their ryes. They haven't got as bold with the bourbon as they have their ryes. And I wish they would, but they haven't got there yet. But they've got a rye category they call double barrel, where they, of course, is aged, and then they take it to a second place. Why it's double barrel. Right around winter of last year, they did a stout barrel double barrel, and that one was just gorgeous rye. If I didn't make that clear, but all year round they have a rum barrel finished rye, which is very good. But I personally love their sherry barrel finish rye because it's Manhattan ready. You've already got some of those notes. So I do use some sweet vermouth in it, but I keep it light, right? I do about a half ounce of sweet vermouth, and then whatever bitters I'm in the mood for at that moment in time, depending on the year, because I'm kind of a bitters junkie. I use a lot of different bitters. But as far as, see, that's the thing. I was drinking a lot of American single malts for a long time. But American single malts are you know, they're neat drinking whiskeys. And then I had a period of time where I was trying to put cocktails together for work, so I was drinking almost, got to that part of my life, I guess, because I hadn't been there before, where I was drinking nothing but cocktails. Now, they were all spirit-forward cocktails, mostly a Manhattan or versions of, or an old-fashioned or a version of, but I was drinking a lot of cocktails, and when you think cocktail American single malt whiskey, or any single malt whiskey for that matter, isn't what you think about. Single malts are typically drank neat. So I kind of got away from drinking them and buying them, but I'm going to get back there, because I really do love just sitting neat, especially as we're coming into when we get to fall and winter. I'll start drinking more just like this, just neat in the single malts. Last year I had a bunch to get to. This year I'm not going to, so I'm kind of curious how things are going to go for me. But I'm not going to buy as much product on vacation this year as I did last year, so I'm going to handle it all just a little different. But the main place we're going only has one distillery, but we plan on going to another spot that's not far from there where they've got a couple. So it's not as many where I'm heading, but the one distillery where we're going to has a lot of different products, right? They've got some bourbons. But they've got some ryes, but they've also got a lot of liqueurs, which I don't typically buy, but as I said earlier, as I've gotten into making a lot of cocktails, buying a lot of liqueurs from one spot where I can formulate a cocktail using all product from one distillery, I'm looking very forward to. But they do have several different bourbons and ryes, which I'm interested in. So I'm going to see what I'm able to pick up. No, I can't afford to get all of them, but I'm going to get what I can. But here's the thing. Again, typically I'm always focused on the bourbons, ryes, single malt whiskeys. I'm just the whiskeys, basically. But because this particular place has so many different liqueurs and other flavored vodkas that my wife might like, or that I might want to use for cocktails, I'm not going to be buying just whiskeys this trip. I'm going to buy probably more liqueurs than I've ever bought before, because I'm not a liqueur drinker at all, but I'm looking at making cocktails, and they have this, that I haven't seen, and that I haven't seen, and so anyways, and I want to buy their versions of other mass-produced products, right? They've got an elderflower liqueur that I want to try to kind of compare to the name. I don't want to mention the name, but the elderflower liqueur that everybody knows. I want to see if it's on that same level. But they've also got a ginger liqueur I'm very interested in, because especially going into the fall and winter, I can see a lot of cocktails that would work in. Again, instead of that name, right? I want to use this. I will tell you, I find this particular single malt sweeter than most that I've had. I also find I'm getting less barrel notes. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm just telling you what I'm feeling here. And again, as I mentioned, having it on the rocks, I was curious how it would come across. Neat is that it's not as bold as several that I've had. but it would probably win Miss Congeniality. I mean, it checks all the boxes. It doesn't do anything the best, but it's right there. It's very friendly. Yeah, we got Miss Congeniality. I don't mean that as an insult. I know it kind of came off that way, but I don't. I mean, it does everything well, and it's very likable. I think I would say it'd be a very good starter American single malt. If you're unfamiliar with the category, start with this one. Let me show you that bottle. Start with this one, and then you can work yourself around to other bolder versions. Again, I do prefer small distillery products. One of my favorites still is Union Horse Rivalist out of Lenexa, Kansas, just outside of Kansas City, Missouri. But Russell Spirits in North Kansas City has some beautiful American single malts, and they've got one that feels very close to an Irish single malt than one that is more American, which is I really like that they've got that contrast going on. And there's just a lot of great ones out there. I think you just got to be willing to try something different. I think there's just a lot of snobbery in the whiskey world. Like, oh, single malts. Oh, no, you can't have American single malts. I just love the category. I love the boldness that American distilleries are bringing to the category that others haven't before. Using that full strength barrel, if you will. Yeah. Before it gets used, yeah, we're going to put this in, and we're going to put that barley in there right now and see what happens. And, oh, damn, I just love it, man. And I hadn't had a single malt in a little while, so drinking this one really is bringing those memories back, making me want to drink more single malts again. And the other, well, now I have one bottle left that I bought last year that I haven't opened, is from St. Louis, Switchgrass. It's their cask American single malt. Now I don't want to open that now. Well, I do now that I've had this, but I don't want to open it yet. I'm trying to hang on to that one because that's my last one from vacation last year. But now that I've had this, really makes me want to try that and feel the boldness of that. It's making me hunger for American single malts again. So, anyways. So I mentioned they talk about toasted grain and hints of caramel, and I said that was exactly right. And when I had it on the rocks, I mentioned honey, raw honey specifically, and I'm still feeling that right in the finish. A nice, the really big raw honey note right at the end. But I'm going to agree with him on caramel, because sometimes is it really? Is it caramel? Is it toffee? Because some think it's the same, but it's really not. There's two different flavors, textures going on there. But anyway, caramel and toffee are a little bit different. But yeah, I'm going to say I do agree with the caramel, but I'm going to say more of a light caramel. Some I feel more of a dark, almost burnt sugar caramel. This one's a very light caramel note. Not light in flavor, but that just you're a light caramel. You're getting some nice barrel in the finish. Like I said earlier, it's a little lighter than most that I've had, but it does clean up the sweetness well. So again, the flavors, the aromas you get are all you, right? It's your interpretation of. So for me, I'm picking up definitely some cinnamon, but I'm also getting some allspice, some ginger, some clove. Mercy. Anyways, Anyways, I went full Eli Wallach again on you. Anyway, I am Tom, the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and all around good guy. I want to show you that bottle one last time. Again, I bought this on sale, but I'm telling you, whatever, if it's in about the $40 range, I would still say it was worth that. So there you go. One more time, I'm feeling, you know who I am. All around good guy, Sláinte. Thanks for tuning in.